guys. So just sure we're on, we're live. Hey. It's just going to take a minute for everybody to get in, but if your brain seems a little fried, it really isn't you. We have a retrograde going on. How are you doing? Regardless of how we feel about it, Mercury retrograde is back, spanning October 13th through November 3rd. And it's said to be one of the most disruptive astrological events of 2020. So this is from Al, Australia. Let me take this mask off so y'all can see me. All right, so it says, we know hasn't all of 2020 felt like one very long, cruel Mercury retrograde. Isn't it rude that it's falling during a pandemic and a Mars retrograde? Ooh, so we're having a Mercury retrograde and a Mars retrograde during a pandemic. Aren't we more tired than we've ever been? The answer to all of those questions is we. Yes. Regardless of how we feel about it, Mercury retrograde is back, spanning October 13th to November 3rd. And it's said to be one of the most disruptive astrological events of 2020. But fret not, for we are here to help you dance the planetary tango ahead. This is everything you need to know about October 2020's Mercury retrograde and how to survive and potentially thrive during the cosmic chaos. What makes October 2020's Mercury retrograde different to the others? Well, for starters, Mercury is going retrograde, that is, giving the illusion of moving backwards in the sky between two full moons this October. This means that unlike February's Mercury retrograde and June's Mercury retrograde, it's bookended by two other particularly powerful astro events. Translation, big cosmic energy. Also, in contrast to its previous two counterparts, October's Mercury retrograde is occurring in Scorpio, arguably the most intense sign of zodiac, and continues into Scorpio season. Now, before you assume it's all doom and gloom, Scorpio is also the sign of transformation and regeneration, both of which are important for positive change as well. Whether that's growing as a person and starting a new chapter in your life, or, overthrowing archaic power structures and systems that ensure people's oppression, same energy. Couple this with the fact that this particular Mercury retrograde is linked to the planet Uranus. While Mercury is related to your mind and thoughts, Uranus symbolizes the things that are sudden. So these Scorpio-induced transformations could happen hard and fast. Of course, as Mercury rules communication, travel, and technology, there are the usual suspects to contend with during its retrograde. Failing technology, back up your phone ASAP, travel mishaps, and intensified miscommunication. It's best to avoid signing contracts during this time. Oh, and you can also expect Mercury retrograde to bring exes out of the woodworks. So stay tuned for that episode. Hey, Aunt, Team Smoke. How will October's Mercury retrograde impact your star sign? As we said before, this whole phase is going to be heavily tied to serious and potentially rapid transformations. The funny thing about big transformations is they don't always feel big at the time. They could range from small insights that spark huge changes to huge fraught decisions that actually change the course of your life. No big deal. Oh, hi family. Hola. For example, you may find that the path to a promotion at work is suddenly much clearer than it was before, and that your superiors are even leaving hints about what you need to do. You may realize you no longer want the job you have and are actually in a privileged enough position to leave and start the business you've been dreaming about for years. You might realize you have been making the same two dating mistakes over and over again, and that's why the old Bumble hasn't been working out for you. Relationship-wise, you may notice yourself becoming more frustrated with your loved ones. Scorpio, arguably the most secretive of the signs, is also the zodiac's detective and hates to be out of the loop. So you may feel extra suspicious during this time and experience the urge to dig up everybody's secrets. Fair warning, you might not always want what you'll find by probing unnecessarily, so it's important to be mindful of these urges. In terms of dealing with exes who may reappear, it might not always be a bad thing. It could bring closure. It could give you the reminder of why you left their ungrateful ass, which we all need sometimes, or it could make you realize you're finally in a place where enough time has passed where you could actually be friends, but don't make any rash decisions without reflection. As we said before, now's the time to back up all your devices. No, seriously, do it now. Reread texts before you respond to them, especially if you're angry, and make sure you're actually responding to the right person before you hit send on something you can never take back. All zodiac signs will feel the weight of October's Mercury retrograde, but Scorpio and Libra will feel it the most. Pew pew, hey Muay Thai. You taking our breakup apart. I know, I'm just so devastated. I had to do a whole show about it, Muay Thai. How do you deal with this Mercury retrograde? Let me get this. This is kind of, I don't know, what do you guys think about the flashing lights? How do you deal with this Mercury retrograde? As always, and we say this every time, self-care is key for managing the effects of Mercury retrograde. Between Mercury's cha-cha making us paranoid, Mars retrograde depleting us of energy, and an almost year-long pandemic to round things off, 2020 has done a number on all of us, and now is not the time to let it up. Now is not the time to let up in the TLC department. Whether that's making space for meditation, more sleep, allowing yourself time to feel ready to respond to texts, you have enough deadlines in a day your friends will understand, showing yourself a little self-love in the bedroom, or all of the above. You have more than earned it, and you are more than worth it, retrograde or no retrograde. What's my Snapchat? I don't have Snapchat. Prettyflower2618 is my Instagram. Hey, how's it going? In a nutshell, slow down, allow the transformational energy to guide you. Do the thing that makes you feel good, even if it's not what Instagram tells you is supposed to feel good, and you'll be okay. Crazy retrograde happening. This retrograde has been like super intense. How's it going, everyone? Good to see you. What's your name? Heracles? I don't know how to say that. Sorry. Let's see. Let me look up some more retrograde. Let's look it up. You guys learned in science, in elementary, I'm sure, that the energy of the moon controls the waves of the ocean. So imagine what all those planets and everything are doing to our minds and to our bodies and like our thought processes and all of that stuff. So don't be so hard on yourself, when, if you feel you make a mistake, or you might have done something you shouldn't have done, or said something, or signed a contract, or you couldn't find your keys, or, something, anything, you know what I'm saying? Don't be so hard on yourself. Like right now, you're all right. You're not losing your mind. It truly is the planets. Let's see. Let me see where the 2020 October. Let's see. Snapchat. I don't do Snapchat, guys. I don't even know what my Snapchat is. Pretty Flower 520, I guess. Hey, Letitia. Like, I don't know why y'all do Snapchat. I don't do Snapchat. I'm never on Snapchat. So, but I have it. I'm not on it though. Let's see. Let's get back into the retrograde. How you doing, Letitia? The Mercury retrograde pre-shadow. The Mercury retrograde pre-shadow phase is indicated in blue and corresponds to the time during which Mercury traces the path in the sky that it will later return to as it moves backward during the Mercury retrograde phase. Often it is during this time that the conditions are set up for the retrograde phase that follows. As Mercury slows down just prior its retrograde motion, the contributing factors and the experiences of the cycle are strengthened, and this is indicated in the calendar by a violet color. The Mercury retrograde phase is in light red. This is the movements of it. Let me see. One way of looking at Mercury retrograde is that it reveals the shadow or disowned component in our awareness, communication, and interaction with others and with the world around us. I'm hopefully finally turning a corner with everything that I've been going through. I don't know just yet though. Like I get little bursts of energy and then like I go down hard again. So I'm trying to take my time. I'm trying to add you. I don't know how to do all that on Snapchat. I'm too old for Snapchat. Let's see. Mercury rules the signs Gemini and Virgo. With Gemini, Mercury expresses the way that we reach out into our neighborhood, interact, and discriminate. The shadow of Gemini is Sagittarius. When Mercury is in retrograde, it often expresses the negative or disowned nature of Sagittarius. When this happens, the tendency is to generalize, anticipate, gloss over, judge, or assume without reality checking. The other expression of Mercury retrograde is through the shadow of the sign Virgo. With Virgo, Mercury expresses the way that we integrate what we experience and how we make sense of the world around us through our mind. The shadow of Virgo is Pisces. When Mercury is in retrograde, often the negative or disowned nature of Pisces is expressed. We may think that someone else will do it, or we may imagine that things will turn out for the best, or we may imagine or hope instead of doing something for ourselves. Often the disowned nature of Pisces is revealed in our disconnection to our core and in seeking that connection outside of ourselves instead. Clearing your shadow. You might want to look at each Mercury retrograde cycle as a small wake-up call and an opportunity to notice when you're caught up in the patterns of your shadow. It is then that we tend to be less conscious and not as aware as we could be. Moreover, when we act from this place, we set ourselves up. The Mercury retrograde cycle is a good time for introspection and to become more aware of your own patterns. If you wish to take advantage of this time, you may find this book very helpful in revealing the ways we become unconscious in our actions, and it gives clear, practical steps to regain our integrity with our core. It comes highly recommended. Let's see. Let me see if I can find some more stuff. Has anybody felt any of the effects of this Mercury retrograde, this latest Mercury retrograde? Let's go to Astro Awakenings, UK. There's always much talk and a fair amount of hype when Mercury turns retrograde, most of it pretty negative and doom-laden. Mention of travel disruption, communication breakdown, and misunderstandings above. People roll their eyes and brace themselves for a few weeks of chaos and confusion as they anticipate the trickster aspect of Mercury messing with their lives. And yes, it is true that these happenings occur more readily during Mercury's retrograde phase, but the essence of the trick played upon us is that they're not negative events, but moments designed to stop us in our tracks and wake us up. Many years ago, I worked with an Ericksonian hypnotherapist who used the technique of unexpected mispronunciation, often of their name, to pull people up short and take them by surprise, inducing a moment where their everyday consciousness was interrupted and a brief state was born into which he could then insert a hypnotic suggestion. Retrograde Mercury acts in much the same way. It suddenly presents us with the unexpected in the context of everyday life, lifting us out of the semi-conscious state in which we often pass our time. At that moment, a new suggestion can be made by the cosmos. Seeds for the growth of a different perspective can be planted. If, however, we respond to this moment by frantically trying to return to the ordered world we thought we knew, a moment of creation and awakening can be lost forever. Hey, Mr. Lines, how are you doing? The time of Mercury retrograde is always a time of truth, even when communications seem disrupted and misunderstandings are rife, because misunderstandings themselves are part of the truth of being human. When Mercury is in retrograde, we're given a chance to address them and correct the course of events, rather than sweeping them under the carpet, ready to trip us up another day. Indeed, whatever Mercury retrograde brings to us, the best reflection is always, what truth does this reveal to me, and why have I needed it revealed in this way at this time? The answers to these questions may be very enlightening indeed. I'm okay for the moment. Thank you for asking. So no matter what you may have heard about how it's nothing but a pain, causing disruption to our plans, throwing our communications awry, and generally chucking a spanner into the works of our lives, the passage of Mercury retrograde is actually a gift from the heavens, which gives us an opportunity to reflect, take stock, review, and correct mistakes we may previously have made in the rush and whirl of everyday life. It's how we receive and use this gift that matters. A while ago, I heard someone tell a story of when they were traveling and every plane they were booked on was delayed or canceled. They began to think they would never arrive at their destination and were becoming increasingly frustrated. In a packed airport departure lounge filled with equally frustrated people, this person decided to make the best of a bad situation. She scanned the room to see who looked like someone she'd like to get to know better. Noticed a woman in the corner, sat down next to her, and sparked up a conversation. They ended up sitting together when the flight finally left. And in the course of their conversation on their shared journey, this person's life was quite literally changed overnight. The seeds of a new perspective were sown. Now, I have no idea whether or not Mercury was retrograde at this time, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was. And this story gives a wonderful example of how retrograde Mercury can work if we let it. Hello, how are you? I have people coming in from Periscope and Twitch and on YouTube. Hi, guys. Nothing that Mercury retrograde throws our way is insurmountable, no matter how disruptive it may feel at the time. And none of it is solely negative. So if Mercury retrograde messes with you, consider yourself blessed with an opportunity to wake up and smell the coffee. Embrace the unexpected and be prepared for a new perspective. This is about Mercury retrograde. You see, despite the bad press, Mercury retrograde is actually our friend if we'll only allow it to speak its often unwelcome message. It will reveal to us where adjustment is needed within and without, and where our attention and focus may be hindering rather than helping us. It comes not to frustrate, but to reveal the flaws in our thinking and perception. It also offers a valuable opportunity to revisit ground covered in the previous few months and correct any decisions or communications that need further attention. It's not a cosmic banana skin on the pavement, but instead a chance to review, reflect, and try a different way. Retrograde. You can rewind pretty much rewind it. I gave the definition when I first started about 20 minutes ago. Mercury's regular retrograde cycle is a self-correcting mechanism of the universe, enabling things that need adjustment to be adjusted before it's too late. And for that reason alone, we should welcome it with open arms. Okay, here's a very brief explanation of what retrograde motion actually is. So this is coming from just because I'm reading it straight through. When we say that a planet is retrograde, we mean that from the perspective of Earth, it appears to be moving backwards against the constellations of fixed stars. This phenomenon occurs because the speed at which the planet is orbiting the sun is different to the speed at which the Earth orbits the sun. Of course, the planet in question hasn't suddenly changed direction. It merely appears to have done so from the perspective of the Earth. As such, planetary retrogradation is an illusion, but a significant one nonetheless, for the wisdom it shares about the inner work needed at those times. All planets other than the sun and moon, which of course aren't actually planets anyway, undergo periods of retrogradation, and the amount of time spent retrograde lengthens according to their distance from the sun. Hence, the outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Chiron, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto remain retrograde for several months, but Mercury is retrograde for only about 3 weeks at a time. Hey, Eva, how are you doing, gorgeous? The astrological significance of a retrograde planet. A retrograde planet in a birth chart reflects an area of the psyche where energy is focused inward rather than externalized. Whereas a direct, that is a non-retrograde, I'm a Capricorn. Whereas a direct planet interacts with, influences, and is influenced by the environment, a retrograde planet saves its energy for the individual rather than the external world. In effect, instead of acting as a bridge between the inner and outer, it pulls up the drawbridge and keeps itself to itself. As such, a retrograde planet can indicate a strength of sorts, an area in which we are self-sufficient and independent of other people. However, when we need to use the planet to navigate externally, we find that we can't engage it effectively, and the planet struggles to make its mark. Essentially, retrograde planets act in a more subjective manner precisely because they lack a connection with the objectivity of the external environment. We may look at the world through our own eyes without realizing that other people see things very differently. Hi, Eva. Hi, Letitia. There can be both individuation and internalization when a natal planet is retrograde. We express it in a more individualistic way due to its disconnect from the influence of external forces, and we process its impact as an internal experience rather than an external encounter. The riches of a retrograde planet are discovered within, not through interaction with the outside world. Thus, when a planet is retrograde by transit, we experience its influence more deeply within us, as we're encouraged to contemplate the personal truths of life in a private and subjective way. And a bit about the planet Mercury, ruler of Gemini and traditionally Virgo. The planet Mercury is the planet of communication, teaching, learning, and understanding. It relates in part to our mind and intellect, how we go about gathering information and the way we communicate to that information to others. How we communicate that information to others. It governs our interest in life in general and how much we do or don't interact with our environment. It also relates to our childhood education, our early life, to siblings, and to our local environment and community. It seems like a broad range of areas covered by Mercury, but in essence, they're all about contact and connection in some form or other, whether it be connection that we experience in early life via our immediate family and community, or the connection that we can nurture at any time through communication with others. Mercury helps us understand life and make sense of our everyday experience. It does not, however, take us deeply into things, preferring to deal with the necessary surface issues of life before moving on to the next thing. Mercury is a flexible planet, and its energy can be quite immature at times. It is often observed that Mercury has few morals. It's not immoral, it's amoral. It seeks understanding and recognizes connections and possibilities without particularly engaging in the rights and wrongs of those possibilities. In myth, Mercury was the messenger of the gods. It wasn't his job to judge the messages and information that he imparted, only to communicate them. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, never journeying more than 28 degrees away from it. As a result, the only possible aspects that can occur between the sun and Mercury are the conjunction 0 degrees and the semi-sextile 30 degrees. And Mercury can only ever be in the same sign as the sun, or the preceding or the following sign. So, for example, everyone born with the sun in Capricorn will have Mercury in Sagittarius, Capricorn, or Aquarius. Let's see. I'm asking my beautiful Energy Day Moon if she wants to join in. When we are born with a planet in retrograde in our chart, we often find that when that planet goes through its retrograde cycles, we are more in tune with the prevalent energy than those people born with when the planet was in direct motion. People born with Mercury retrograde often find that life goes more smoothly, not less, when Mercury turns retrograde again. The challenges that other people may face at this time are either met with greater ease or simply don't arise in the first place. Many people born with Mercury retrograde see this time as one of rest and relaxation, where life flows without great effort and things fall into place more readily than at other times. Letitia, when's your birthday? Spawn, what part is true, Spawn? Why everyone talks about Mercury retrograde. As you can see, Mercury is very influential in our day-to-day existence, ruling the building blocks of our interaction with others, such as computers, the media, telecommunications, travel, and our local environment. So it's no wonder that we have experiences every part. Yeah. We all know the frustration of a computer crash, a canceled train, or misunderstanding with someone that leaves everybody feeling out of sorts and dissatisfied. When Mercury turns retrograde, these things can occur more frequently and with greater consequences, hence the negativity surrounding these periods of time. But if we allow ourselves to be distracted by the practicalities of inconvenience, we can miss the deeper message that Mercury brings, because remember, a retrograde planet turns us toward ourselves to process its lessons within, not outward to tackle them in the external world. If we focus all our energy and attention on getting our computer running again, we may just miss the most important aspect of the trickster's influence in our life. The reminder that we're actually in control of very little, and much of our control is, in fact, an illusion. Love you too. Nope. Sorry about that. Let's see, Virgos. Hey, looks like an AK rocker. What's that? Hey, what do you mean? Hey, Nap City. I believe it is. I got it at the Nap City South, Nap City, Nap City. I got it at the furniture store here. They had another one that had an ottoman, like where your feet kick up. But I didn't want that one because I was like, yo, my kids will probably break it anyway. So I got this one, but it reclines. It does all that jazz. I got it a few months ago, to be honest. I got that, and I got my drafting desk, and I got my umbrella lights, and I have my backdrop and my green screen and all the above. Thanks. Let's see. Let's get back to this. Where was I? If we focus all our energy and attention on getting our computer running again, we may just miss the most important aspect of the trickster's influence in our life, the reminder that we're actually in control of very little, and much of our control is in fact illusion. We can only claim sovereignty over ourselves. To tie ourselves in knots trying to control the material world and its many vagaries is a long and exhausting journey with little respite. Which of course isn't to say that we shouldn't sort out the computer problem or find a different route to that meeting we should be at when our train's canceled, but it does mean we should also remember there's a whole other level to what's going on, and the more we can engage with that too, and what a better time to do that than sat in a station waiting room or in a traffic jam with nowhere to go and nothing to do, the better. Like the woman mentioned earlier who made the most of her disrupted journey and met someone who changed her life, we too can use Mercury's tricks and games to enhance the richness of our own existence if we choose. Yeah, I got a drafting desk. It like tips up. Understanding the personal impact of transiting Mercury retrograde in your own birth chart. If you have a copy of your birth chart, you'll be able to see where Mercury retrograde's influence will be most keenly felt in your life. Once you have identified the house in which it travels backwards, you can attend to that area of life and use the retrograde period to carry out a spring clean of the issues and circumstances you encounter there. And then there's some tips depending on if the retrograde is in your 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th house. Yes. So that's more Mercury retrograde talks. Let's see. It's that time of year again. Mercury retrograde. The last one of the year, in fact. This infamous astrological phenomenon begins in the evening of October 13th, and it lasts all the way up until November 3rd, aka Election Day. This retrograde is starting out in the fixed water sign Scorpio, but on October 23rd, it retrogrades back into the cardinal air sign Libra. While Mercury is retrograding through Scorpio, the water signs Cancer and Pisces will be having a relatively easy time, while the fixed signs Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius will definitely be struggling. The pressure eases off the fixed signs once Mercury enters Libra on October 23rd, when the air signs Gemini and Aquarius will begin to feel way better about the retrograde, and the cardinal signs Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn will start feeling more pressure. Oh my God, more pressure? Jeez. Like I felt like I was going through something. Jeez. Let me see. Well, today's the 23rd, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Is Mercury retrograde overhyped? I look at, like I said at the beginning of this live stream, if you knowing that the moon, science in elementary school, the moon controls the ocean, right? So all of these planets and planetary placements and all of that stuff, it controls a lot more than just that. I was talking to my sister, Energy Day Moon, and I was telling her, I was like, people think that, you know, drugs fry your brains. It's literally these planets and what's going on up there, all the energy, and ooh, feels like Jupiter, fortune, expansive, found money, gifts, etc. Nice. Hey, occultist. Hey, coolest. Nice. So is Mercury retrograde overhyped? It says, we've all heard of Mercury retrograde, but a quick recap on what it actually is. When a planet is retrograde, it appears to be moving backwards in the sky from our point of view on Earth. And whatever area of life that planet represents becomes a little wonky and lopsided. Since Mercury governs communication, commerce, and travel, you can expect hella misunderstandings between you and your boo, squad, family, whoever, and tons of missed texts, emails, phone calls. And you should definitely make sure you double, triple check your schedule because your time management skills are really suffering. When Mercury is in Scorpio, an emotional, mysterious, and intense sign, you take on a more probing, psychological manner of thinking and communicating. This is great for studying or making deep, intimate connections with others, but remember, this retrograde is making everything more difficult. Let me see on YouTube. So that probing psychological mindset might lead you to overthinking the tiniest little things. Maybe your sister borrowed a cute top without asking. This retrograde energy can make it easy for you to overanalyze what happened and think that your sister stole that top in order to mess with your head, when really all she wanted was to serve a cute look. Let me get this over to Day Moon. Make sure you guys smash the like button, por favor. And if you have not subscribed already, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Do a lot of different things on this channel. Scorpios always know what's up, and Mercury in Scorpio, especially when retrograde, is notorious for making you want to gossip and listen to rumors because you simply want the tea. What goes around comes around. What goes around comes around during Mercury retrograde. So if you're talking shit or gossiping too much, whoever you're throwing shade at will almost certainly hear about it. The same goes for you too. If you've got haters, you can expect to have to deal with their drama by the end of the retrograde. By the way, Scorpio, being a fixed sign, has very stubborn vibes. So your first reaction to an argument or disagreement is to stick to your guns and fight it out, even if you're totally in the wrong. So how do we navigate this retrograde? Well, first of all, make sure you read your Mars retrograde horoscope, because that transit's influence is still very much happening. Yes, it's a safe space. Hey, Energy. How are you? Nicholas said hi, Energy Day Moon. Hey, Diziam. How are you doing? I'm starting to feel a little bit better. I think I'm turning a curve, but I'm going to try not to push it tonight. I'm going to just give myself a little bit more time here, and then I'm going to go back down so I can start, pacing myself again. So again, how do we navigate this retrograde? Well, first of all, make sure you read your Mars retrograde horoscope because that transit's influence is still very much happening. Second of all, understand that you're feeling extra sensitive right now. Ground yourself often, be patient, try to compromise, and keep your feelings in check. 2020 has been, in a word, rough. And from an astrological perspective, things are staying rough, at least for now. But some good news. 2020 has a multitude of exciting, fun astro weather, but you got to navigate this final retrograde first. You totally got this. So we're also in Mars retrograde, right? Mars is in retrograde as well. Completely exhausted? Bingo. Blame Mars retrograde. So I have some unfortunate news, y'all. Mars retrograde is here to bring a torrential downpour on your parade. Mars retrograde doesn't get enough press as Mercury retrograde, but it's objectively a real toughie of a transit. This time around, it's taking place in its favorite sign, Aries, from September 9th until November 13th, but you'll feel its effects up until the very end of December. The cardinal signs Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn are getting hit the hardest by this transit. Ooh, but Leos and Sagittarians are having a much easier but still difficult time. Mars is the planet of ego, motivation, aggression, and libido, and retrogrades are a time where things get turned upside down. Basically, Mars retrograde is a time when your sense of motivation, how energetic you feel, and your sex drive begins to slow down and behave weirdly. Yeah, yikes. Aries is the zodiac's archetypal warrior. So when Mars is in Aries, like it is now, but not retrograde, you feel determined and ready for action. But when Mars begins moving backwards, that fiery drive and confidence evaporates. Mars, the god of war, feels like a total wimp right now, and so do you. Push on through. Push on through, baby. It won't last forever. In fact, I've got a little Mars retrograde timeline for you. From September 1 until September 13th, Mars is in its first station. It's slowing down in the sky and making you feel like total crap. From September 13th until November 3rd, Mars is properly retrograde, and you're figuring out why all your motivation has disappeared and how to deal with your loss of energy. Finally, from November 3rd until November 13th, you're likely to make changes to fix these issues. Mars stations direct on November 13th, but you're still cleaning up the mess until the post-retrograde shadow ends in late December. To be honest, this transit is going to be rough on everyone. Oh, yes. She sure do. Actually, she was just talking about how much creativity she has just pouring out of her. So that's so exciting. To be honest, this transit is going to be rough on everyone. But I would never throw all of this retrograde nightmare fuel at you without letting you know how to get through it all. You just need to remember that your Martian side, your sense of independence, your motivation, your drive is hardcore flopping right now. So starting new projects simply isn't an option now. But if you and another person can work together on something, this can actually be a lucrative time for you. If you're single, don't start any new relationships. Mars retrograde is a recipe for passive aggression and growing resentment, leading to you popping off over how loudly beige chews gum. Try to be upfront without being aggressive. Show others that you're eager to compromise. Work hard no matter how shitty and tired you feel, because the rewards will be well worth the wait. You're King Kong in this bitch. That's a fact. Energy. Got that energy. Your name means a lot to me. Hey, she's about to walk on water. I thought it was good wax making me laugh. Oh no, it really isn't. It really isn't. It's all this planetary placement and planetary, like all the cosmos and everything is going haywire up there, and it's causing all of this, everything that we got going on down here. Yep, energy. It's the energy in us. Let's see. These are sun rising signs. These are Let me find some more stuff here. How are you guys doing tonight? Have you guys felt any of this craziness for the past month or two? I know I have. And there's been a lot of like slips in communication and understanding and comprehension and just a lot of things going on that makes it so much more real. And it's like, well, duh, if the moon can cause all these waves in the ocean, then surely my brain and everything else about me is being affected. Every day is off by a fraction. Yes. Yes, I'm on StreamYard. You want to jump in? Whoever wants to jump in, let me copy this here. Let me paste it. There's the StreamYard link. Let me just grab. Ugh. Getting a little chilly. I should throw this on. Got myself a little sweater. Every day is off by a fraction. That is a fact. So yeah, this planet stuff is pretty intense. I know I shouldn't be doing that, but I do it anyway, right? Tell my kids not to do it. This is a pretty sweater, yeah? Not doing that. Turn it off. That doesn't make it go, retard. You're chilly, but these pasties work wonders. Dizium, that's funny. How close are you to super chats, Mai-Ling? Let me see what my count is. I will tell you right now. I need a few hundred more. I need 418 subscribers. I have 582 subscribers. I wish I could get super chats already. I'm still trying to get 1,000 subs. So, I'm trying to get this sweater. It's cute, yeah? Okay. I'll just wear it for now. Nap City. Let me see my Cash App. I'll put it in the I'll put the link in there. Copy YouTube here. That's the Cash App. I don't know if it's cashmere. It feels really nice. I don't think it is though. Nope, it's polyester. Polyester and acrylic. It feels really nice. on these kids. Hey. Excuse me. I'm on mine. Bye-bye. Yeah. I don't mind it being that. Stop being ahead of me, energy. I know all your empowerment shit, but damn. Yeah. Nap City's been around for a good year too. He was over there with us over at TRBRC. I smell a battle. There's a battle, yes. Danny Myers versus Mellow15 and Malt Leasy versus Kid Dangerous, Dia de los Muertos. Coming up soon. Coming up soon. See, this is the whole, like, what's going on with Mercury and retrograde and all of that stuff. Just a little miscommunication. No harm. It just opens the door to greater possibilities, and you just have to appreciate it for what it is. So it's very exciting. Let's see. What else can I find on? Thank you, energy. I appreciate you. Let me see. Let me put the Cash App up there. There we go. Yeah, that is energy's job as a moderator. She didn't realize that Nap's been around for a minute, though. Outlaw JVC, what's good? South Carolina tapping in. What? Okay, Mercury retrograde, what it means and what to pay attention to. Mercury is a rather popular planet when it comes to astrological conversations. It's a magnetic messenger, the closest planet to Earth, and one that gets the most attention out of all the others in the solar system. You've likely heard it's not the most ideal time to start new projects. Make sure to save and back up your files. Okay. Mercury in retrograde 2020, what it means. In true retrograde style, there are a lot of mixed messages out there about what these periods entail, what it is, what it isn't, what it represents, and if it really affects us. At its most auspicious, shout out to you, Nap City. Thank you. Shout out to Nap City. Nap City, Nap City, bitch. Nap City, Nap City. That's me and my nap dance as my Nap City. In true retrograde style, there are a lot of mixed messages out there about what these periods entail, what it is, what it isn't, what it represents, and if it really affects us. At its most auspicious, the power and purpose of retrograde periods allow us a chance to review the things in our life that need attention. Given this Mercury retrograde occurs through the sign of Pisces and began on Valentine's Day weekend, a lot of these themes surround our personal and romantic relationships. Mercury retrograde is a slower period that allows us to connect back to ourselves too. Our frustrations during this period tend to come when we are trying to push forward at our regular pace instead of taking the time for what life requires. Yes, things still need to get done, but whenever possible, leave extra time to review things before finalizing them. Think taxes, travel plans, etc. This will eliminate the headaches that come up around not having things go exactly the way we would want or expect. Believe it or not, it is possible to have a smooth sailing Mercury retrograde. It hasn't been smooth sailing for me during this one. But doing this requires releasing ourselves from the idea that everything has to be under control in order to make it worthwhile. And that's where I needed to step back and take a look and share all of this with you guys as I'm absorbing it for myself as well. Your brain is definitely fried from the what? Let's see. Oh, I guess it's not coming up on, sorry, Smith, your comment's not coming up on the on the, what is it called? YouTube. Believe it or not, it's possible to have a smooth sailing Mercury retrograde, but doing this requires releasing ourselves from the idea that everything has to be under control in order to make it worthwhile. This retrograde will feel similar to the one we had this time last year. So this is the retrograde from earlier this year. This retrograde will feel similar to the one we had this time last year. So you might want to revisit any similar themes from February 2019. Life is both cyclical and linear. These few weeks of reflection will allow us to glean lessons from the past rather than diving right back into our regular mindset and routine. It can be rewarding to see how far we have come. There are ways to approach this Mercury retrograde that work for all of us. As a rule of thumb, go slowly, feel your way forward on everything. Check in with yourself regularly and trust your guts. For the next few weeks, trust and believe that things are working out in your favor and that there is divine universal support no matter what. As it is a time for clearing the mind, it is also a time to revisit ideas and projects you have put on the back burner. Think of it like you're cleaning your house and you find something you forgot about or thought you lost. Ideas and projects that you have put on the back burner can reemerge at this time as long as you make the space for them to show up. Also, Epsom and Himalayan salt baths are a great way to restore your system. What did I just finish telling you, Day Moon, about taking a bath? Like, ooh. Also, Epsom and Himalayan salt baths are a great way to restore your system. If you don't have access to a bathtub, consider a foot bath. Just fill up a large bowl and soak 1 foot at a time if that's all you have access to. Add essential oils to calm and comfort an exhausted body or mind. What did I just tell you, Damon? Oh my goodness. We can expect this Mercury retrograde to affect us in specific areas of our lives, especially considering it is the first retrograde of the year. Well, this is the last retrograde of the year. For the next few weeks, make sure to slow down and check in with yourself during vulnerable moments. Let's see. These are the things, let's see. Mercury in retrograde. Mercury in retrograde 2020, what to pay attention to by sign. Here are the areas each sun sign should pay close attention to throughout this retrograde. For Aries, if you're in Aries, let me pull this down. If you're in Aries, tying up of loose ends, forgiveness and closure. Themes around closure in your career, home, relationships, or friendships might be coming up for you. Rely on your intuition. Try to not rush too hastily into or out of anything while remaining open to closures and new beginnings. Taurus, your community. This is a great time to get out and network with your colleagues and acquaintances. You may not be aware of all of the opportunities out there for you. Sometimes it really is just about showing up. Gemini, your career sector. This is a good time to take a day-by-day, step-by-step approach to success in your career life. Reevaluate what is working and what is not. Consistency and intuition are key. Cancer, what you have to offer others. You have a natural intuition and emotional intelligence. This is a good time to teach others what you know directly or indirectly, simply through living and leading by example. Don't keep all of your good ideas to yourself. Leo, your sex life. Let's do it. Leo, your sex life. Sexual health is part of physical wellness. You deserve to take care of yourself and to make sure your needs are being met. This is a good time to honor this most basic human need by re-examining what good sex means to you. Virgo, your partnerships. This whole year is about partnerships of every kind. It is, however, an especially good time for calling in romantic love or nurturing the romance already in your life. It doesn't have to be cheesy. You'll find a way to make it your own. Libra, your approach to physical health and wellness. This is a time for discipline. Stick to the routines you know work best for you. If you found yourself sidetracked by the busy energy of the holidays and New Year, this is a good time to return to your tried and true methods and health goals. Scorpio, Scorpio, the way you express your creativity. Yes, day moon. Actually, she's reading it. Also, take in all your signs, rising sun and moon. Yes, yes, yes. Scorpio, the way you express your creativity and playfulness. This is a perfect time to focus on lightness. Can you please not run up and down the stairs? You're very rude. That's rude. The way you express your creativity and playfulness. This is a perfect time to focus on lightness as readily as you can. Joy is always available to us, even when things are uncertain. Take this time to feel joy by releasing your stress and anxieties in healthy ways. Sagittarius, your home and family or chosen family. These past few months, a theme for you has been to focus on building a cozy and comfortable home life. Carry on. After all, you need to have something to come back to and a place to call your own. Capricorn, your close relationships and communication style. This is a time to realize where miscommunication is apt to happen and to slow down just long enough to ensure what comes across is what is intended. Aquarius. I swear, you know me, Daymoon. Daymoon said, May, the rude gangsta. Really, truly. Aquarius, your business and feelings around financial security, your fears surrounding change, and your dreams and aspirations. This is a time for reevaluating your approach to money and finances. This is tax time too. If you haven't already filed, make sure to double check before you send it off. That was like earlier. Pisces, yourself and projections of how people perceive you. This is a time for stepping out on your own and coming into your own. Backlash be damned. Do the things you know will make you feel good despite your fear of what people will think or say. Just be your amazing self. Mercury in retrograde is nothing to fear. It is a time to revisit those plans and places you have already been to. Without these periods of slowing down and assessment, we would get super burned out. Take the time to nourish yourself, your body and soul. Retreat and relax however you choose, and above all, just listen to yourself. Here's to a glitch-free Mercury retrograde. Why do things look at even just from being on here, the letters on the computer and even on my phone, they look different now since I've been reading. I don't know. It's just all this great planetary stuff going on. Let's see what the refinery has to say. Mercury retrograde ends on election day. Here's what that means. It's here. The last Mercury retrograde of 2020, starting on October 13th and ominously ending on November 3rd, election day. We've been through a lot this year, astrologically and not astrologically, and it's time to buckle up for one last wild ride. As you may already be aware, Mercury retrograde is known to wreak havoc and bring confusion to all during its planetary moonwalk. Astrologer Lisa Stardust tells Refinery 29. When the planet of communication, Mercury, starts slowing down in the cosmos, situations become more complex, ambiguous, and changeable here on Earth, she says. Until November 13th, the planet of Mars is also retrograde, and the combination of the two planets moving backwards is honestly not so great. The first days of Mercury retrograde will be stressful due to the Sun in Libra forming a challenging opposition with Mars retrograde in Aries. She also points out that this transit is happening mostly in Scorpio, a sign that Mars traditionally rules, making the energy more intense. A good move during the first days of Mercury retrograde would be to keep your schedule light and avoid feeling overwhelmed and stretched too thin. More on the Scorpio of it all. That since the passionate sign is nocturnal, it prefers quiet and solitude. So while we'll find ourselves experiencing textbook Mercury retrograde problems, misunderstandings, tech issues, exes resurfacing, kids going crazy as I'm over here live streaming and I've already spoken to them to just kind of, while I'm doing this, but hey, they're still at it. No, I'm not reading horoscopes. I'm reading about Mercury retrograde. They're asking me on Periscope what I'm reading. Darkness is comforting sometimes. It really is. So we're like, no, don't think of it that way, Spawn. We're not. This is a time where you should be looking inward instead of outward. Let's see. Let me find it back. So while we'll find ourselves experiencing textbook Mercury retrograde problems, misunderstandings, tech issues, exes resurfacing, you know the drill. Instead of reacting and trying to put out fires, it's best to retreat, think, and ruminate about situations at hand. Mercury will square Saturn on November 1st as it's preparing to go direct. There will be obstacles and pressure along the way, most likely from authority figures. It will be important to distress, focus on self-care, and ask for help when we need it. The helpful sextile Mercury will be forming with Venus from October 13th to the 17th, indicates that people will be able to help us along the way if we dare to ask for it. Mercury's backward stance will move from Scorpio into Libra on October 27th. Our focus will change to relationships and partnerships at this time, she says. During Mercury's time in this sign, we will reconsider our closest partnerships and what we are getting out of them. Remember, it's not a great time for communication, so it may be better to wait until after the planet turns direct to tackle your relationship issues head on. But this is a good time to think about your partnership and ask yourself if you're getting what you need. Mercury turns direct on arguably one of the most important days of the year, Election Day. The last time Mercury stationed direct on Election Day, Stardust points out, was during the 2000 election when Al Gore won the popular vote and George W. Bush took office. The days after the actual election were tempered with uncertainty, frustration, and confusion until Al Gore stepped down from the race. So what can we expect this time around? Well, we kind of already know what's coming based on the current environment brought on by the pandemic. The mail-in ballots will take a long time to be counted. A lot of voters won't get to the polls in fear of getting COVID. And we can expect that both the Democratic and Republican parties will demand a recount no matter who the winner is. It's hopefully not going to be an end of the world scenario, though. Mercury will be in Libra on this day, and the sign of the scales is one of the best signs to have all of this frenetic cosmic energy transpire, because it's known to be fair-minded and balanced. Fingers crossed. So Libra, scales, balancing the scales. So everything's going to be fine. Don't worry. The moon gives the cosmic vibe and direction of the day. Will be in Gemini on November 3rd, when Mercury turns direct. Mercury rules Gemini, which means that there will be added mishaps that are unforeseen. This adds a double whammy of unpredictability to the outcome of the election, especially because the Gemini moon will be riding along the north node of destiny and squaring off with the elusive Neptune. We're not going to sugarcoat it for you. Mercury's final retrograde of 2020 this October will be rough. But remember, you've gotten through two other of the communication planets backwards transits this year, and that's something to celebrate. Retrogrades are a time for the 3 R's: review, reflect, and reassess. So while it may feel like the world around you is crumbling, it's exactly what you need to catapult into a better future. 2021, here we come. Oh, cool. Nice. We're good. Speak what you want into existence and remain as balanced as possible. And look inwards instead of trying to focus on everything outside and control the things that we can't control. Focus on what you can control within you. And there you will find, more creativity and more, you'll get more accomplished during these times. You know what I'm saying? It can be a little frustrating sometimes when you don't realize what's going on, but When you do, you're like, hey, just jump in the bath and wash all those negative ions off of you, those negative charges off of you, and just go. I'm excited as fuck. I'm about to have a standoff with Neptune. What? Yes, girl. Yes. Get it in. I told you. I've been telling you. It's like, it's already planned out. It's like, it's smooth sailing. You just got to trust it and just allow it to be, because it's there, you know? I know I have, my hard times too. And I'm like, it's not going my way. But at the end of the day, it's like, it really is happening the way it's meant to happen. So you just got to really take advantage of those times where you feel confused and just turn it into focusing on yourself, because you're worth it. Oh, thank you, Spawn. Neptune all mouthy because he got to Trident, right? The election is going to be a tie. Biden is going to be president 3 days a week, Trump 4 days a week. Smith, somebody on Periscope said the election is going to be a tie. This is here. I just put it up on the screen. That's what they said on Periscope. Let's see. That's funny because Spawn, planets move slow and we all have certain planetary alignments that we got to deal with in natal charts. Yes. Dizium is the most witty of all, I promise you. Yeah, everybody should be excited. Even though like it can be confusing and it can be like hectic and like you're like pulling your hair out and stuff. It's really a time to be like, this is dope, and just love on yourself. Like focus on you, focus on you, focus on you, see what you can do during this time to make your world, not the world outside of you, your world, a better place. It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. It's crazy for you? Well, see, that's a good thing. That's where you have to turn it back around and just look in the mirror and be like, that's the only thing you should be focusing on, Nap, is the person in the mirror. Right? I've definitely had some miscommunication during this time. Some contracts fall through, and pulled out of actually as well. So it's been pretty wonky for me, and it started to attack me emotionally to where I was allowing myself to feel like the world was crumbling down on me. The weight of the world was crumbling down on me. And I literally have been telling people for the past couple of days, I feel like I'm suffocating and I just need to break through and break out and just clear everything off of me to be able to breathe again. And it had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with me focusing on me and taking care of me and doing what I need to do for me. So, and really, this is what the true Bible says: accumulate as much as you can, put it in the right way, not the wrong way. Correct, Spawn. Now, as above in heaven, so below on earth, as within, inside, so without. Yes, stay balanced, walk on water, boo. Absolutely. Yes. Yes, that's great. Great advice. The machinery exists to pull wool on our eyes, endless repetitions of endless lies. Ooh, speak, Dizium. That's fact. They all run the same playbook, like NFL. They really do. They really do. Focus inwards instead of outwards. Because outside, like, there's all this energy from all these planets, crashing down and causing chaos all around. And it's like, whoop, time to hide away and be like, oh, I like this book, or, oh, let me fix this about me, So it's a really good time. It's a really good time. It can be frustrating. It can be very frustrating. I know that I've been frustrated for the past few days, and it's like, am I really doing? I asked my man, and I'm like, is what I'm like, do you see value in what I'm doing, for the business? And is it valuable, And I think I was being even more hard on myself because I've been sick and I've been dealing with a pretty bad double kidney infection for 2 months now. And I went out last weekend and I was in the sun and I was, just hanging out and wasn't allowing my body to rest. And so it took a long time for me to feel some kind of recovery from that event. And but tonight I feel a little bit better. I took the advice that I gave Day Moon, and I threw myself in the tub with some lavender essential oils and just chilled and just washed all the negativity off of me, all the negative energy, all the negative charged ions, all of it off. And I was able to come sit down and share this information with you. I didn't have any plans on doing it. I was like, hey, let's talk about the retrograde, since Energy Day Moon and I had been having a conversation about the retrograde while I was taking a bath. So, thank you. On some music. Hey, yeah, definitely. Oh, are you Mills? Spawn, is that you, Mills? Is that Mills? Yo, Mills is my guy. Hey, that's Mills. Yo, what's good, Mills? Mills is badass, you guys. Mills is a producer, composer, like badass. You had to change your name? Well, you haven't texted me. I haven't got any text messages or phone calls from you. So I need some work from you for my artists. So let me text you my email address. That way you could send me some. Emmanuel. That's my guy, Emmanuel. That's my email. Send me over some whatchamacallit, some of your stuff so that my artists can take a look and a listen, if you don't mind. And then give me a call. We got some work to do. That's a fact. That'd be a good feature at May and Energy Spa Day. A spa day. I don't bite my tongue for no one, period. My support isn't inclusive of my personal opinions. That's a fact. Hey. Let me see. Did I miss any comments? Oh, there's Mills. What did you think, Nap City? Oh, let me see. Oh, you've been biting. Don't bite your tongue. Wait, what's going on? Don't bite your tongue. No tongue biting. Nap City always supports. Always, always. Oh shit, what happened? What did I miss? What did I miss? I don't see. Did somebody say feminist? Hmm. Hmm.
You need to buy some more butter.
I know I need to buy more butter. I know you're here with love, Nap. I don't know what's going on. But this is where Mercury retrograde has all the communication jumbled and might be a better idea to take a step back and rethink. And then, hey, I rock with all of you. For real, for real. I appreciate you guys for real, for real. Spawn, Emmanuel, let's get this money. Hey, I'm trying to fucking make 2020 count, the rest of 2020 count, because 2021 is gonna be a banger. We turning it all the way up. Emmanuel, hit my email. Hit my email. We got some music to make. We got this battle rap that's coming up October 31st, Danny Myers versus Mellow 15. And then I got Malt Leezy versus Kid Dangerous, October 31st, Dia de los Muertos. We want to see some dead bodies. Hey, we're going to have some fun that evening. You are the soldier out here. Hey, I'm trying. I got some soldiers with me. We are army. We are force to be reckoned with. We are some dragons, some fire-breathing dragons, and it's so much fun. But that being said, I'm going to take some time for myself now, since it's already been an hour and 22 minutes and 20 seconds. You guys, if you guys want to look up some more on Mercury retrograde or rewind this broadcast, feel free to do so. I'm going to leave it up on YouTube. So anybody on any of the other platforms, on Periscope, Twitch, Facebook, y'all may come back over here and rewatch and listen to what goes on during the Mercury retrograde and how you can make it benefit you. Have a good one. Peace, light, and love.